Here's the funny thing about narcissists. They think they're smarter than everybody in the room. They think that they know the law better than the law. They think they are above the law. They think that they can do whatever they want and they'll get away with it. Because here's the thing, they've had this complex their entire life. They were never held accountable for their actions. As a child, they didn't get punished when they did things wrong. That grew into teenage years, no accountability for their actions, which grew into adult years, no accountability for their actions. They're praised. They behave with this superiority complex. And so when you enter a child custody case with a true narcissist, you can basically guarantee that they're not even thinking about the fact that they're literally requesting a legal document that holds them accountable for their actions. It's quite interesting when this piece of paper gets signed by a judge and then they get upset that they have to follow it. It's like, you literally asked for this. So what you need to do as the healthy co-parent in order to get on track to living a more peaceful, less chaotic life, because narcissists thrive on chaos, power, and control, is you need to hold these people accountable for the very thing that they've been threatening this entire time, which is to go to court, which is to have a court order in place. Well, guess what? We have a court order in place, so now you need to follow it. You have to hold them accountable. Do not bend. Do not, when they want to change the parenting time, do not change the parenting time, because you have to remember that when you're going through a custody case with a narcissist, this is a long game. This is not, oh, I'm going to go to court and it's going to be signed off, we're over it, and we're done, we move on. No, they're going to forever, especially if they've lost anything in the beginning. They will make it their life's mission to plan the most strategic, evil plan to literally form weapons against you. It's truly shocking what I've witnessed in the courtroom, what I've witnessed in terms of the level of evil that somebody would go to try to separate a beautiful, healthy parent from their child only because of punishment, only because they want you to suffer. They want to destroy you. It's not about the children. They're going to mask it as, well, I just genuinely want my child. But guess what? It's not the truth. The truth is if they know anything that is truly what you care most about, if your children are your life, if you've expressed during the pregnancy how excited you are to be a mother, if you watched every single thing you put in your mouth because you wanted to create the most healthy, beautiful, pure human being on the planet, if you just boasted the second that child came into your life and your whole entire world revolved around this child and their protection and love and security, guess what they're going to go after? They're not going to go after your house. I mean, they might, just to take everything they can away from you, but that's not what you've expressed that truly brings you the most joy in life. If they know that your child is the most important thing to you, that's what they're going after. And the thing is they think that they are smarter than everybody in the room. So they are going to try to not follow court orders. They are going to try to go against them. They are going to try to not hand over your child when it's your parenting time. They're going to try everything on the planet to try to separate you from your child. And if you want to try and tell me that's not demonic and evil, you're living on a different planet. Because anyone that can go for somebody's child, a human being, to separate them from a healthy parent is a disgusting demonic entity. Bottom line, end of story. It's disgusting. You, being the beautiful, healthy parent, need to have the tools to fight this person. I say person, but I really genuinely think they're just demonic people in human form. So at the end of the day, get your ass in line with documentation. And I get comments all the time, my documentation didn't do shit in the courtroom. Like I said, this is a long game. It doesn't matter if you won the first time. If you won the first time and they lost, trust me, they're plotting and planning on how to go back. They're coming up with any scenario, any story, any plan that they can use to try to win. That is their goal, because that's what they thrive on. They thrive on the chaos and the power, and they don't have any level of what they're willing to go to destroy you. So they'll come up with anything. This is why your documentation in the beginning, especially, I would have given anything to know how family court operates, to know, and I was represented from the beginning, but it's not like your attorney's going to sit down and tell you all the complexities of family court. All they're going to they're asking you for proof, documentation, what's going on in the case, what do you want the outcome to be? Are you looking for this, sole custody, partial custody? Is there drug use involved, substances involved? Is there abuse involved? Is there child abuse? Is there sexual abuse? They're asking the serious questions so that they can go in and properly present your case, and then you are the one that has to have the evidence and the documentation, and you need to be leaving no room for the judge to question it. Now, does that mean that just because you have all the documentation on the planet that you're going to win? Not necessarily. Trust me, I have been defeated in court. I have come out in pure shock and disbelief by what the judges cared about and what they didn't. But let me explain something to you. I never gave up. Not once. I zoned in even harder on my documentation. And guess what has allowed me to gain sole custody? Not one time, but twice. I now have sole custody again, and I have final say on the legal decision making. Guess what allowed me to do that? My documentation, my inability to quit on my child. The fact that I knew in my heart and soul that God was telling me, do not give up. I'm telling you, I have protection over this child. Fight and keep fighting. And guess what? He protected me this last time. Every single disgusting just attempt to try to sway the case, to try to lie, to try to manipulate anything was immediately shut down. All of the things that once worked did not work for him anymore. The judge, the new judge that I had gotten after two other judges, actually looked at the history of the case and felt it necessary to request another hair follicle. Then when he was shaving his entire body, not providing the hair follicle over the course of about 5-6 months, 4 or 5 months, he then requested, okay, you want to play this game, then give me your nails. Then, then we go back and he says, oh, there was an incident where my dog had a seizure and my nails were manipulated. So then the judge goes, you've got about 48 hours to submit a hair follicle. Well, he had already shaved his body. He was doing everything to try to get out of it, thinking he's smarter than the courts. You see this? And then it ended up pissing the judge off to the point where when the judge scheduled the hearing, that we didn't even have a hearing. The judge's mind was made up. The two attorneys went into the chambers, discussed what was going to be the outcome. They said, the judge says, if you don't agree to what I'm suggesting today, you are probably going to have the worst outcome of all of it. So this is what I say is don't give up just because you've been defeated once or twice. I don't care if you've been defeated for the 5 years. You could possibly have a judge that looks at it from a different angle if your judges rotate. You need to figure this out in family court. But this is what I help teach people is the complexities of family court and how to have the best outcome possible. Because what I will tell you is if you don't document properly, if you don't behave properly outside the courtroom, if you're not properly communicating with the other parent, if you're not following court orders and you're thinking that you're doing whatever a normal healthy parent would do, which is, let's just say you discover drug use and you're like, I'm not bringing my child over there, but the current court order states that at his parenting time, that will fall back on you, even though you know there's drug abuse and your child may not be safe. You need to do a different order. Maybe you file a welfare check while the child is over there to check to make sure that the person that is on drugs is of a sound mind when you drop them off. And then you file an emergency order. There's ways to go about this. If you need help, I have created a documentation binder located on my website, the High Conflict Documentation Binder. And then I've also created a program that is called the Custody Confidence Program. And it will teach you how to behave in and outside of the courtroom so you can have the best outcome possible. You can head to my website at joinbloomfromwithin.com if this is something that you need help navigating.